Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Chill Vibes podcast with your host, Pate, and your co host, Jordan, where we talk sports without the clickbait. Now, with that being said, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Chill V Podcast, where we have all the links to our social media in the bio. And also, if you have any recommendations, email us at chillvibesportspod@gmail.com. And don't forget to recommend us to a friend. How's it going, Jordan?
Going good, man.
We
What's
got a
up,
couple
guys?
guests here today, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm AJ. I was here last week.
Yeah, my name's Carter. I wasn't here last week.
Oh yeah, we got a newbie here, Mr. Carter Hall. Everyone, round of applause.
Appreciate it. Get a little drum roll going on.
All right, it's nice to have y'all here. So, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to start out with the Bengals and Chiefs. I know we had a couple guys here last week that thought that this would go exactly how it went. Me not being one of them. So, just to start out, the big thing of the game was that Mahomes didn't score from 5 minutes and 4 seconds left in the second quarter until they tied it up. So, how much of this do you place on Patrick Mahomes, and how much do you think just the Bengals defense ended up taking?
Well, I definitely put a lot on Pat Mahomes. I mean, he just didn't look the same once the Bengals started coming back a little bit. He came out hot, like I said last week. I said he's got to come out hot, but he just didn't keep going. Kind of looked like Matt Stafford a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I think, like I said, they kind of lost all their swagger. I swear, at that play at the halftime, when they didn't convert, it's like all their momentum and swagger just completely left the building and went over to the opposite side of the field to the Bengals. So I swear, like in that second half, the Bengals looked like a completely different football team.
I mean,
Defensive and offensive.
Yeah, you saw the Bengals adapt on defense to what they were running. And when Patrick Mahomes makes as much money as he does, and caliber of a quarterback that he is, he's supposed to be able to adapt and pick apart the defense. He just didn't do that.
Yeah, because Ben, making almost almost close to $1 billion, man. If I was a quarterback at the end, I would have threw that bitch into the ground, bro, to kick the field goal. But I mean, I understand where you're coming from, though. I mean, you got Tyreek Hill. I mean, dude is an absolute lightning bolt. Like, I trust him any day, to get to that corner and beat the corner. But it's just one of them cases that didn't happen
60% of the time.
Oh yeah,
you just got to throw it to him.
I mean, it's just
and also you have to sit there and say, as many creative play calls as the Chiefs have in their offense, you would think them on the 2-yard line in a very meaningful spot of the game right before halftime, you think they would have a better play call just overall.
Yeah, I swear, what play I thought was coming? Like they always run
all the shovel pass.
Yes, exactly.
That little pass to Kelsey, like where he throws it and shuttles it. They did that once.
Well, why are you throwing it backwards on the two? Like I understand it's Tyreek Hill, but why are you throwing it backwards? I mean, that's just bad, especially with 5 seconds left. Take a shot at the end zone, and then if it doesn't work out, maybe you have a second left to kick a field goal. But I mean, that's just bad play calling in my opinion. I don't really blame that on Kelsey. I mean, Hill or Mahomes. That's just a bad play call in my opinion.
Yeah, because even if there is just one defender outside, he still has 2 defenders on him because the sideline's right there. He only has so much room to work with. Whereas if you're in the end zone, you have the whole end zone to work with.
Yeah. I mean, that's if Eric Bieniemy called that play.
It would surprise me.
Yeah. But then again, it might be on Mahomes because, Mahomes probably looked at Tyreek and said, get in the end zone. So, it could go either way there. I mean, I don't know. That's just a terrible play call either way.
I mean, also on the flip side of that, you got to think about all the playmakers they have on the side of the ball. They got Kelsey, they have McKinnon, they got Hardman, and they've got Tyreek Hill. You mean to tell me that they couldn't have drawn a better play up to get one of those 4 guys the ball?
Yeah.
Well, you're also looking at it like think about it this way. Like you're looking at it like Tyreek Hill's got a one-on-one with Eli Apple. All right, I don't know if y'all have watched him throughout his career, but Eli Apple has been horrible in his previous situations. He's played a little better this year, but he's been horrible. So you got to think about it that way. It's like, when he's one-on-one with Eli, he should be able to make that stop. I mean,
and also you got to credit the defense a little bit too for being able to clamp down and stop that. I mean,
and heck, credit to Eli Apple on that play. He literally ran from the other side of the field or from the other side to the opposite side just to tackle him. Literally, if he maybe trips or run into one of his own defenders, bro, Tyreek Hill scores it easily. Seriously.
Yeah, but you also
Trey Hendrickson's ass ain't catching him. I'll tell you that. So.
Oh no. Well, the big thing about that too is the hot.
It's over.
What was that?
If he would have took one wrong step, he wasn't catching him.
Oh no. Well, that too. I was going to say, the hot hand of the first half, honestly, was Jarrett McKinnon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you not go to Jarrett McKinnon in that situation?
Tell you what, he looked like Alvin Kamara there for a little bit.
Or go to your 6'7" tight end. What are you doing? You have a 6'7" best hands tight end in the league, and you're not even looking at him on the 2-yard line. Come on, man.
I would have literally just threw a back shoulder fade to Kelsey. I mean, that may at minimum takes a second or two.
Because they were busting their ass the entire game like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelsey was across the middle, wide open, tons throughout the game. Why change it up in a make or break situation?
And heck, could have went to the good old shovel pass, bro. I swear that would have scored there too.
Well, a lot of people are looking like, oh, if they would have kicked the field goal, blah blah, they would have probably won the game. And I'm like, well, if they would have scored a touchdown, it probably would have put the game out of reach for the Bengals.
That's what they were thinking. They were like, a field goal can help us out, but a touchdown ends it. That's what they were thinking. That's why they went for it.
And with that offense, you have to think you're going to score the ball from the 2-yard line.
100%.
But you also we've been talking a little bit about how defensive backs played. And I was going to say in the beginning of the game, I thought the Chiefs secondary was doing a pretty good job against Burrow. And I was wondering if you guys thought that it was more or less they got worn down throughout the game, or if the Bengals and Joe Burrow just adjusted to what they were doing.
Well, I don't know if you saw how long those drives were, but a couple of those drives in the second half, I mean, it felt like each team had the ball twice. I mean, the defenses were out there for a long time. So I definitely think that was the wearing them down part had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, also you got to think the Chiefs defense has never really been, extremely stout. But I mean, I kind of felt they're one dimensional. Once you pick them apart, it's over. I mean, and I think Burrow finally warmed down, like AJ said, kept them on the field. Eventually, they just got wore out, and then he could start to pick them apart.
I mean, I'm looking at the drives here. Go ahead.
Yeah, and like you said, AJ, I mean, you say that, but I mean, they've been to how many AFC championship games and all that stuff. I mean, they don't get there just off the back of Patrick Mahomes. So that's why I was saying that, yeah, they got worn down a little bit. But I would also say Joe Burrow did a good job of actually just seeing what they were doing and then adjusting to that.
I mean, how many times you see Joe Burrow escape a sack from Chandler?
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, that 3rd and 7 late in the game when he somehow got away from him 2 times in a row and then scrambled for the first down. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Maybe a more defense with a little bit more stamina might have gotten him before the first down, but you got to give him credit for keeping the defense on the field for so long too.
Yeah. We also got to give a lot of credit too, man. As we look at the game, I thought, Chris Jones and Clark and what's my boy Ingram was going to get off on them, but they only had 1 sack yesterday, which is pretty good for the Bengals offensive line.
Yeah,
we saw in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to make that point that the Chiefs only got 1 sack on Burrow. So, I mean, that shows you more or less about how good the Titans' defense was against Bengals instead of just how bad the Bengals' offensive line was.
Also, I don't know if you saw it. If y'all saw it, Joe Burrow took a lot of check downs in that game. I mean, he hit the running back out the backfield a good amount of times. So I think they definitely game planned that, saying we got to get the ball out of his hands quick.
You got to have have an option every time.
Yeah, they did that for sure. I mean, the P-Run on the little check down got the big touchdown, but he hit P-Run and Mixon for a combined 6 receptions on 7 targets. So, yeah, that was a smart idea to have them always out there just in case they needed them.
Yeah, and that's a lot. I'm glad he did check his check downs too. I think a lot of quarterbacks nowadays they just totally ignore their checkdowns, and then they end up throwing a dumb pass when you go back and look at film. Like, yo, just dump the ball down.
Well, another
something
thing
that's kind
is,
of remarkable to me is that with talking about checkdowns, the main guy that he checked down to all year left the game in the first or second quarter.
Oh yeah, Uzama.
Yeah, I mean,
oh yeah,
I thought that was a huge
probably
loss.
a huge part of their game plan is Uzama is going to be our check down guy. He's always going to be right there, 6-7 yards as a safety net. And when he went down, they kind of like a spark lit them, and they were like, okay, we got to use P. Ryan, we got to use Mixon.
well, they were going to use P. Ryan and Mixon. I mean, Mixon and P. Ryan played really well. I mean, especially Mixon. Mixon, I didn't expect him to even be relevant in this game, and he was actually very well. I mean, he played really good. So, props to him for that.
Yeah, because Uzama, I know. They say that hopefully he'll be back. He can be back for the Super Bowl. I think he got an MCL sprain. But I was like, that's a big loss there, for sure.
I mean, he's been big all year.
Heck yeah,
he's been big all year.
Yeah, and I'm with you, AJ. I've been calling for the fact that I didn't think Joe Mixon complimented Joe Burrow and the young receivers quite as well. But then, of course, I say that, and then the next week he comes out and rushes for 88 yards and catches 3 passes for 27 yards and all that. So that about lines up with it.
Props to Mixon. I mean, he played well. And then, they kind of, in the first half, it seemed like they kind of eliminated Jamar Chase a little bit. They didn't really – because, we talked about last week about how the first game was so big for Chase. They definitely came out and focused on him. I think that's why T. Higgins had a bigger game and Chase kind of had to take what he was given. But, I think that was a big part of the Chiefs' game plan. And luckily those guys, like we said last week, the Mixons and T. Higgins had to step up and make plays, and they did.
Yeah, that's what we were definitely saying last week. I mean, we definitely called on T. Higgins that he would have to come out and play good if they wanted to win this game, because everybody knew with Matthew back and Jamar Chase playing so well against the Chiefs last time that there's going to be a lot of focus on him. So if the Bengals wanted to win, they were going to have to go to Higgins, and you have to give the props to Higgins and on the coaching staff to sit there and say that we're going to trust this young receiver to carry us through the game.
Well, I got a question. Do y'all think that their mindset was we're going to use Chase as a distraction just because of how bad he torched them last game?
Yeah, I would say they were almost using him like the Rams used the Cooper Kupp in the last part of the season, where they were kind of just using him on very obvious routes to open up different things in the defense. I would be curious what the other guys had to say
very
that
obvious stuff. So they're like, oh, it's definitely coming to him right here. And then if for some reason it opens up, boom, you hit it. If not, T. Higgins is running open.
Yeah, because they definitely played him a lot better this game for sure. Because that was just ridiculous that first game. My man, like I said, he went 11 for 266. Which is like completely insane. I mean, I know this game ended with 6 for 54 for a TD, but still his impact on the field, like I said, that just leaves the other guys opportunities to get open, like Boyd and Higgins. We saw, Higgins went 6 for 103.
Yeah, I mean, Higgins had a big day, and that's what we said. We said if they were going to win, they're going to have guys step up, and they did. And
it's crazy. His stat line probably could have been a lot better, Chase, if Uzama was playing too. Like I said, Uzama, he just, that's another whole piece right there you got to think about covering when he's on the field. So.
Yeah. And then
good.
I was going to switch over to the Chiefs wide receivers. My big thing last week was they're going to have to keep Tyreek Hill kind of at bay. And, he did have a decent day. I think he had 6 or 8 for 78, 7 for 78 or something like that, and a touchdown.
7 for 78, yep.
Yeah, but that's, for Tyreek Hill, that's actually a pretty good.
And the touchdown was the first drive of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And that was a hell of a catch by him, by the way. If we can go ahead and put that out there, that was a hell of a catch.
But if I'm not mistaken, he did catch like a 35 or 40-yard ball, too.
He had a 33 for his long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the one that he called to get them in that drive where right before half, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he got him down there. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like you look at it, and he had a good game, but I mean, I feel like when you're arguably a top 5 receiver and you have the weapons that the Chiefs have, that he should have been targeted a little bit more than what he was, especially in such big of a game as that was.
Well, I would say too that, like I said, when they were going into halftime and they had a hot hand in Jerick McKinnon, I think it's a little bit on the Chiefs for them to just ran away from that. I mean, literally ran away from using him so much. I mean, and Edwards-Helaire in the first half, he had a couple of decent runs, and then it's almost like when they came out in the second half, they were completely dropped the run game and only passed. So the Bengals, all they had to do was drop into coverage every time, and I think that's where they ran into their big problem.
If you look at the Chiefs' rushing stats, I mean, they had 2 guys averaging 6 yards a carry between McKinnon and Helaire. I mean, that's something, and they only rushed it between the 2 of them 18 times. So it's like you're up 21-10 at half, and you don't come out and keep running the ball. It's kind of like what kind of game plan is that?
Yeah,
You know
they
what I'm
should have
saying?
had at least 25, 30 rushes in this game if they were up 21-3.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan likes to go 30 rushes no matter what the game looks like. I mean, let alone having a 3-possession lead coming out of halftime. You'd think that these hot hands would have given them something.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'll just say this, if the Cowboys did that, I would have been a little upset. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Chiefs fans, I would be upset to not see them keep rushing the ball. Because I mean, I was a little shocked they were running McKinnon the most, but Helaire, really, he came out
As an
and ran the
Eagles
ball
fan,
well.
I can understand.
Well, they did a good job, too, of using them, you know, one's the pass catcher, one's the hard rusher. Like, they used McKinnon and, you know, where they needed some speed and or maybe sitting behind the line and then finding the hole and then sprinting through it. And then Helaire, they just used him to, you know, just rough people up and get the hard yards they needed. But like I said, all those yards for the most part were in the first half. Like his long was 14 of his 36 yards. That 14-yard run was in the first half. I don't see why they just forgot about these people all of a sudden as soon as they went into the second half.
Yeah, bro. They pulled a Falcons on us, bro. You know, Falcons versus Patriots, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I just don't understand either why they abandoned the run. Like, because honestly, if you play the Chiefs and they got the run and the pass going, there's no reason why you should ever beat them. You know, they got both of them running.
Mm-hmm. That shows you that because the passing didn't work in the second half. It's because they had no run game. I mean, they can run the ball for just very little, and the passing will excel because they have to be a little bit afraid of the run. But when you got in the second half, you don't run the ball. What are they afraid of?
Exactly. Nothing.
Yep.
Just keep everything in front of me. Keep Kelsey and Hill in front of me. That's all I got to do. But
I mean, you can't stop both of them. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, I mean, can't really stop them.
There's no duo that can stop both of them and like lock them down. Like, how
Unless
many
you're not
games have
running.
you seen? How many games have you seen where Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce have had less than 50 yards each? You don't see it often.
Well, yeah, I'm about to say you don't see it too often. But I know that game they first played, the Bengals and the Chiefs, they did hold him under 40, which is very surprising.
I mean, it's just like one or the other. It's like one's going to get you or the
other's going to get you.
I mean, that's one thing that I'm going to say. The Chiefs' offense is so good that I feel like any quarterbacks, they succeed in their offense. Like, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't say that.
Not any.
Some of the throws that Mullins makes, nobody else
keeps the pocket alive.
Yeah.
Yes, he keeps the pocket alive just as good as Josh Allen.
Quarterbacks in the NFL and put them in the Chiefs situation. They're not much worse than what team is with Patrick Mahomes. That's just what
I wouldn't go that far. What's your? I don't know. Can you very quickly say your top 10?
Shoot.
I mean, if not, it's not. If you can't, it's not that big of a deal because that was just going to be and that'll go on for 10 minutes. I don't know if you'll have that much time. because the top 10 quarterback thing is always very interesting. We'll make a podcast about the top 10 quarterbacks and break all them down and who everybody thinks they are. That's a good one.
Get everybody on for that one.
Yeah, we'll have to. There's a lot of opinions going on about that one. But we've mentioned a couple of times, even through this podcast, and a couple of them to lead up to this one, how young the Bengals are. And the Bengals were the least penalized team in the league this year. Does that surprise anybody how they're this young and they're already that disciplined, and that kind of leads to where they are today?
Heck yeah, I didn't think that was the most. I thought it was the most penalized team. I'm like, much as Joe Burrow, I know he was the most sacked quarterback this year.
Yeah, normally that's a correlation right there.
Yeah, like I thought, okay, they probably gonna definitely have a lot of penalties on them holding on the offensive line. But
I think my biggest thing with that is definitely Zach Taylor, and I think he should probably win Coach of the Year at this point. In my opinion, just that's discipline all starts with coaching, and having young guys like that, not making those stupid mistakes on the field.
Even if they do make a stupid mistake, they don't make it back to back. Like you don't see him like constantly making the same mistakes over and over.
Yeah, and also, I mean, they do run a sort of quick offense, so you don't have to worry about those constant delay of games or anything like that. But really what's impressive about that, too, is their secondary isn't always getting pass interference calls on them, because that's where you really rack up the yardage.
And that's crazy because, I mean, like, they're not that good. Like, their secondary is not phenomenal, so you would think
they're just coached very
well. Yeah, I mean, they accept when they
get
beat.
Not that good. We can say they're not that good, but they do have some guys that stepped up big this year, like Chidobe Awuzie. Yeah. He was really good this year.
Jesse Bates always been good.
Yeah, Jesse Bates, Von Bell played well this year. I mean, and moving on to the next topic, not really moving on, but just kind of throwing this out there. My MVP for the game would be the Bengals defense.
Oh, yeah.
As a whole, because they made big plays when they needed to. And
2 words, Evan McPherson.
Buddy is clutch, though.
No, if I was gonna get, I mean, we can go ahead and move on, like AJ was saying, and just say everybody's MVPs. I would give it to T. Higgins because, I mean, we can say that everybody's looking at Jamar Chase and they're not really looking at T. Higgins, but he actually went out there and delivered what he was supposed to do. He did what he needed to do for them to win the game. If he wasn't there, they're not going to win, because who else did they have to throw to? Uzama got hurt. Tyler Boyd was only 4 receptions for 19 yards. And then the running backs made up the rest. So without Higgins, I don't think that they really win this game.
No.
Hey, my MVP
big time
is going to be my boy, Sam Hubbard, man. Like, it was a lot of plays that I watched in that game, like where he was the spy on Mahomes. And it's like my man was running step to step with my boy. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, between Hubbard and Hendrickson, I mean, that's 3.5 sacks in that game. So, and that those can change ball games. So definitely, I'll give it to the whole defense.
And first, very key moment sacks too. Like that was a lot of third down sacks. They put them on the run a lot on third down, made them make bad throws, and that was a game changer.
And don't forget, Sam Hubbard's the one that was a spy for Patrick Mahomes, and then he
that's what I'm saying
on the play that he caused the fumble and made them kick the field goal instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like him being dude was like, I was kind of surprised. Like when he was a spy, I was like, oh damn, he's actually like
that play changed the entire game. That fumble he had, I think it was on second down.
No, it was third down, and it forced the Chiefs to kick a field goal to tie the game instead of Mahomes getting a pass off for a touchdown and maybe winning it.
Yep. I'm about to say, bro, I said Mahomes against Hubbard 101. I'm like, oh man, Mahomes shaking this dude, but like,
he played a good spy. I don't think it was. I mean, he did have to have good speed for it, but I think he did a very good job of picking and choosing how to go at him when he was a spy.
That was a perfect opportunity for him. Like I said, he took that right time to go at him. You know, because I'm like, bro, somebody get this motherfucker. Like, he's been back there for about 15 seconds. Just standing back there like, yo, y'all about to get this, man.
Y'all want to? How happy were y'all to see Mahomes lose in overtime?
I wasn't.
Good, man. I know the Bills fans felt good.
I mean, it's already happened to Mahomes, though. I mean, he went through the same thing Josh Allen did. I wouldn't put it on Mahomes for it.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
not a
mean,
big
honestly,
Mahomes fan, you know.
He should have thrown. I mean, because I don't know if y'all the 2nd and 10 throw that he made was horrible. That should have been a pick right there. That would have sealed it. All said, done. But Eli Apple dropped it.
yeah,
The reason why I don't
Luckily,
feel
they-
bad for him is because he didn't deserve to win that football game.
yeah, against the
He did not
Bills.
deserve
Yeah,
to.
I ain't gonna lie. I had to get that game to my boy Josh Allen.
He didn't
bro.
deserve
That
to
man
win
was
either one of
balling.
those games.
Like, shoot.
I don't know. He did pretty well.
The Bengals stomped back, and he had no answer for it. None.
I mean,
He couldn't score. He couldn't get in the end zone. I mean,
I wouldn't be so crazy hard on Patrick Mahomes. I mean, quite yet. I mean, he's been to 4 straight conference championship games. So I think.
Oh yeah.
he's
still
definitely the guy. For
I
sure.
think. I think it wasn't as much just Patrick Mahomes. I think it's almost to the point where that entire team almost expects the things that they're doing, and you could kind of see that in the second half, where they thought they could just run these big long routes, and they didn't do what the Bengals did and just check down, do what they needed to do to get the first down, and they ended up stalling out so much that they couldn't get their momentum back.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I just got tired of seeing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl the last 3 years, bro.
Yeah,
Wanted
that's
something
true.
new.
I was sick of seeing Tyreek Hill throw up the deuces to the boys, man. Like, sick of seeing Kelsey catch touchdowns. Like, bro, I want to see another team, bro.
Well, the good thing for the Bengals is what Zach said last week. Got to take away the chunk plays. They were really making the Chiefs sustain drives. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't letting them just get these big 50-yarders all day long, like the Chiefs like to do. And I think that was another big thing
I think
about
they
it.
had like 2 big ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
They
point.
had that one to Harden, and they had that one to Tyreek Hill.
Yep. So is there any other key things y'all want to say about that last game before we move on to the next one?
Not really, bro. The only, like I said, man, the
Bengals
really the
were
killer to that
100%.
game was just that freaking play before halftime, bro.
I
That's
think
really
that's a
what
big
turned,
one. I think that was a really big one.
Yeah, that was
Really
a
turned
mistake
everything
by the
around.
Chiefs. Definitely a big mistake there.
If I start the Chiefs at the 1 yard line,
Yeah, you're gonna
like,
be
you
hyped.
gotta be happy, bro. Like that's an automatic score. Even if it's the Chiefs on a 1, oh, that's an automatic touchdown.
Yeah. Can't really.
I'm curious
Yep.
to see how Joe Burrow can do in a Super Bowl. Though.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the upcoming Super Bowl in the next episode, and we're going to make sure everybody gets an opinion in on that one. But before I do move on to this one, I mean, can I just say that this has been even further the best playoffs that I've ever seen. I mean,
100%.
Oh yeah.
with the last round, the round before that, I mean, it's gotten better
Just
every round
and,
almost.
Yeah, the games and like the whole like weekend of games has always been good. No slow moments, except when my team got their ass beat. But that sucked.
Well, there was only 3 bad games really in this entire playoff. Everyone else has been like a come down to the last second. Like you think about it, like the Chiefs' first game that one was pretty ugly. They beat the crap out of the Steelers. Then we look at the Phillies game. I mean, Philly really had nothing going in that one, and then the Rams just obliterated the Cardinals. But other than that, every game has been. Oh, and then, the Bills.
Niners
the Bills.
Green Bay wasn't great.
No, that was a slow game, but that was a defensive game. And
hell of a
people
fourth
don't
quarter
like
though.
Yeah,
Just compared to the other 3 games that week makes it tough
Well, then
for you to say.
if you say that the Niners-Packers game wasn't good, then you got to say that the Niners-Cowboys game wasn't good either.
Well, I mean, no, I'm saying that it's hard to compare the Niners-Packers game when you had those other 3 games that same week with the Rams-Bucks and then the other 2, the Bills-Chiefs and Titans-Bengals. That's hard to compare them.
Yeah.
Well, the Rams-Bucks was like, it was a good game, but for 3 quarters of that game, that was a tough, like it was was an ass beating. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the
I guess
Rams
I'm
beat
biased.
the hell out of them. I mean, but when you're comparing the Chiefs and the Bills game to the Packers game, it's kind of difficult because they're complete opposites. One's an offensive showdown, the other one's just a defensive who makes the big play.
Yeah, but they were good. I would have watched any of the games front to back, really. I mean, even the blowouts, I mean, those were pretty good. I mean, fun to watch because the teams that blew them out, you would expect it, so it was fun to watch. I don't know.
I'm also glad to see that officiating hasn't controlled the games past couple weeks.
I've said that same thing. In that Rams-Bucks game, it was didn't end up being a big deal when Eric Weddle hit Mike Evans And they were
I
trying to
thought
say
about
that it was
a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, they were going to try to do that, but thankfully the ball hit the ground first. That's the thing where I'm glad officiating hasn't gotten in the way, because that's one of those things where Eric Weddle's running full speed, Mike Evans is juggling the ball, and then just slaps it on the ground and then gets smacked. So what's Eric Weddle supposed to do? Thankfully, there haven't been that many situations.
Yeah.
Another thing with that is like, why is Eric Weddle trying to take his head off right there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because he's on the 3-yard line.
Just go for the ball or something. I mean, he was lowering. I mean, it was helmet to helmet. I mean, that's a bad hit.
There's no way it was a helmet to helmet. Mike Evans is 6'5", and Eric Weddle's like 5'10".
Yeah, but Mike Evans is falling down.
Lunging.
Well, yeah. So I'm saying, with that one, I mean, I'm saying that I'm glad the officiating didn't get in the way of that, because
I mean, they made the right call.
Yeah,
I mean, it was the right call.
Yeah, because I don't agree with somebody running full speed at somebody and they're juggling the ball. If you get hit, you get hit. The person running at you is not supposed to know that you can't make the catch.
And then when we move on to the next game, there was a hit in that game as well on OBJ. Mm-hmm. That was very unnecessary. You know.
Oh yeah, Fred Warner.
Yeah, I mean, lowered his helmet right into him. I mean, that's just.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a minute. Let's just go ahead and.
Eric Weddle, though, if he lets up and doesn't hit him and he walks in for a touchdown, how bad is he getting bashed?
That's what I was saying, because Mike Evans has some of the best hands in the league, and he's juggling the ball. What are you supposed to do? Running full speed, you're supposed to somehow smack the ball out of his hands or something like that? No, you're supposed to hit him. It's football.
Yeah, I agree.
True. I mean, I don't know. But you're right. I'm glad the officiating has not gotten in the way so far. You're completely right. That's what's made the playoffs so good.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Well, because there hasn't been any calls like the
in the end zone from 55 yards away,
like that Saints game a couple years ago with that missed PI call.
Yeah,
that sent the Saints home. That was probably one of the worst calls I've ever seen. And then take it back even further. We go to the that's the next one, the catch, the Dez Bryant catch. That was a bad one. You know what I mean? That's a missed ball. But yeah, it's been nice not
to deal
seeing
with
anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not seeing this
and not putting the refs in a bad situation too, which is very surprising. I mean, I think the football play has been so clean that they haven't had to step in and have these controversial calls. Like, everything's just been really, really good football the whole way through.
Well, the teams that are left are very well disciplined, very well coached. You don't see any teams in there anymore that are making these stupid mistakes and making it where the refs have to make all these calls. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd also rather the refs be bad in the case that they miss calls than to throw a flag every single time the smallest thing happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, like yesterday in the Chiefs game, there was a couple missed calls, but I'd rather it be that way than they throw a flag every time that they blink.
Yeah, that's a good point. But we'll move right on into the Rams-Niners game. Just prefacing the game, the 49ers had won 6 consecutive games against the Rams for 3 years straight. The 49ers were the 7th overall offense coming in, had won 9 of their last 11 games, including 3 straight tough home wins. I think most of us picked the Rams to beat the 49ers in this game, but did you expect the 49ers to almost control this game as long as they did?
They've done it all year. Mm-mm. I did. I think that game panned out exactly how I thought it was going to.
Well, I thought the Rams were going to come out a little bit better on offense. They kind of struggled out the gate trying to get the offense going. They really didn't get the run game going. They really couldn't get nothing going. You know what I'm saying? They came out and they just had quick 3-and-outs, and that was I was not expecting that, how well the Rams had started games in the past couple weeks. So that was probably my biggest thing.
I mean, honestly, too, and also, too, we saw how much of a loss that Tyler Higbee was here in this game, too. Because I swear, like, Higbee for the last few games in the playoffs been going off, but that was definitely a big loss for him. And where's Jefferson? What's Jefferson been? I swear, dude, never fan Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see him in 2 weeks.
OBJ had a big day.
Yeah, he did. I think he had 109 yards last night.
9 catches
113.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Cup, of course, like that's not a
Yeah,
well,
I need to talk about him.
Yeah, Beckham's 9 for 13. That was, I would say, the Rams offense, maybe stat wise, did very well. But I'm with you guys when you say that we started out the game very, very slow compared to what we've been doing. And when you sit there and look at how the plays went out, we had the ball in the red zone that was thrown for a pick in the end zone. Skronik dropped a touchdown pass, and Matt Gay missed a field goal. So if you sit there and say, if we had the ball in the red zone and didn't throw the pick, that's 3 points, 7 points, 3 points. That's a 13-point swing that we missed. So
that missed field goal was horrible, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. But that's what I'm saying too. I mean, it's when you are watching the game and you see the score, you almost forget about those 13 points we left very obviously on the table that could have put the game at a different point. But you also have to convert those opportunities too, and we just didn't.
Yeah. Well, and the Niners missed opportunities as well. I mean, that one interception that I don't know what Stafford was doing with that ball. I mean, he kind of just lobbed it up and had two guys down there and was like, hopefully someone catches it. But that one that Tart dropped, that was pretty bad. That was
going to end the game if he caught that ball.
Yeah.
I think that's just the jersey number 18. That's just not a good number. If you know, you know.
And I mean, but they made the point last night during the game. Do you think that Stafford might have like an injury? Because I was going to say that throughout the game, he didn't look like as sharp as he has. I mean, the other games that he's played, like in the playoffs or kind of towards the end of the regular season when he was getting all these turnovers and stuff, he didn't look very sharp. It's almost like he doesn't have that little umph he has behind his arm usually throughout his career.
Yeah, I think he could be suffering something, bro. Because sometimes, like I said, he be throwing picks, bro. I'm like, what the fuck are you?
And you do remember
he's played more games this year than he ever has.
I think against the 49ers, right there at the end of the game, or it might have been the week before, we were on a drive and he got rolled up under somebody and he came up limping. And ever since then, I don't think he's been able to put his back foot into whatever he was doing. I think that might be where the injury's coming from. I think he's got a bad ankle or something that he can't push off and get that little extra oomph into his passes.
Yeah, because normally I know him playing Madden, bro. Like my man had that cannon, man. Like, and I'm not seeing that same drive. When he throws the deep ball, especially, I don't see that same velocity that I normally see, bro.
Yeah, and I would say that too about the short passes. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make him look sharp because he doesn't have that. It might be his back foot that's hurt because he doesn't have that back foot to drive off of and hit those little quick targets that he keeps missing.
Yeah, exactly. And now as I look back to that game, I'm surprised none of your players got freaking killed last night because I swear the 49ers were trying to kill. Trying to kill y'all boys. It's crazy.
Headhunt.
Yeah, bro.
Well, we put on pads starting on Thursday because we were trying to expect them to play rough football yesterday.
That was a physical game, bro. Like crazy physical.
Well, division division rivals. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be
because when I saw them fools lay a shot on Cup, I was like, okay, these motherfuckers really not playing. I'm like, damn, y'all really laying the wood on my boy Cup. Damn, they don't give a damn.
Yeah, and it's surprising. I mean, I honestly think that if anybody's going to play rough, I think the Rams should be the team that play rough. I think what's almost holding them back is those unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Because I think that if you have Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald and Von Miller and all these and Leonard Floyd coming off the side and just smacking guys in the backfield and getting up and celebrating, I think they're almost afraid of that because I think if they're Showtime LA, the refs are just going to automatically throw a flag on them. And I think Sean McVay's kind of warned them of that. Don't be showing off and smacking people because they're going to try to give y'all flags, especially with Jalen Ramsey back there.
But now I'll say this: Jalen Ramsey did not play that great again.
We said that he wouldn't do it, and he did.
He did. He made some mistakes. He dropped an interception. He made a couple penalties, I think. I remember one for sure, but he just made some simple mistakes. He really wasn't playing his top notch as you expect from Jalen Ramsey. You know, I mean, he's supposed to be the best corner in football, and he just didn't play like it. And he's going to have to show up because he's about to play a lot better receiving core than he just played. So
yeah, you're right.
Jalen Ramsey, big time puss move going up to Robbie Gould and talking junk at the half. Why are you going to the kicker?
Right.
Why are you going to the kicker?
The kicker that kicked over our team after halftime.
Man,
y'all was in my head. What he supposed to do? Like in Green Bay, bro. I'm like, well, I'm also thinking like, why can't
what are you supposed to do? You have a net on the sideline.
Well, I mean, yeah, that too. I mean, you gotta get some live reps in, but I don't understand why those in the kicker also kicking the opposite end zone, like someone over there.
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
Still, man, he could have found somebody else to talk shit. See,
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's Jalen Ramsey. He's talking crap to everybody.
I think Jalen Ramsey wears that face mask so he can do it, and the refs don't see it anymore. I think that's why he wears it.
Oh yeah,
that face shield.
Because you know it's not cold.
No, it's not cold in LA.
It's not cold.
I think I've been saying that all season. I think that he's wearing that because they can't call him on saying something to somebody if he's walking by and saying it through the face shield.
Yeah, because I swear I can't see. I mean,
because it looks like he's showing no emotion.
Thing he's saying.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that he does that pisses me off is he never puts his mouthpiece in, man.
How do you know?
Have you ever seen him? Every time you watch a Jalen Ramsey play, that mouthpiece is hanging.
Oh yeah.
Every play.
That's true.
He's got to have the wireless if he's got that face mask on.
No, he's got he's got a face, unless he's got two mouthpieces. He's got one hanging from his face.
I think one's for show.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, my man over wearing the mouthpieces,
he's
bro.
Fresh.
Sometimes let it hang.
I ain't never seen anyone flex a mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen baseball players wear two sets of gloves, so I don't know.
Hey man, people got different swag.
Two mouthpieces.
Yeah, but back to Jalen Ramsey. It's not so much the coverage stuff as much as I haven't seen him on as many tackles as he used to be on throughout the regular season. Because that's where I think most people really compliment him the most is that whenever he's in the slot or drop down in the coverage, if somebody catches the ball and you're on Jalen Ramsey's side of the field, you're getting tackled by Jalen Ramsey. And I think that's where he's been missing in the playoffs. He's not making all these tackles and doing what he has to do.
He's not in the run game as much because throughout the season, they really emphasized him being one of their main kind of run game stopper guys. And he really was, he's not in there as much as he was. He's more of he's kind of dropping back a little bit more. And, you know, that one penalty he had where he was just, it was the defensive holding or something like that. That was just stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He didn't need to do that. And he was just, you know, holding Ayuk like it was nothing. And I will give credit to Ayuk too. Ayuk played well. I mean,
yeah, he
had a couple big catches there. And Ayuk's played a lot better in the postseason he did in the regular season. That's for sure.
Yeah, he got hot in the last 5-6 games.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he did though, because I had him.
I mean, he's more just like a presence thing because he opens it up for Debo.
Yeah, I'm about to say because he's like Debo. You think about it, bro. Like, I mean, he's that gadget guy, but because like I said again, George Kittle still haven't showed up. Like we know
the touchdown, but it's only 2 receptions.
Yeah, 2 receptions.
He's not there. He's not doing what he was doing.
I don't know if y'all saw y'all see the one where Jimmy G just air mailed him down the middle of the field. He was wide open.
Yeah, and he dropped it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, Jimmy G, that was on Jimmy G though. He just air mailed that. That was a terrible throw. But you kind of expect.
I mean, but George Kittle has been a guy that can catch, 7-8 catches a game, and then 7-8 catches can mean 50 yards or it can mean 100 yards, but at least he's getting 5 or 6 catches. But
I just
right now he's getting 2 receptions a game.
I think it's just because of his quarterback. I mean, Jimmy G's not a guy that's going to have 35, 40 completed passes in a game.
Jimmy G played well in that game.
Yeah, but I was going to say too. I mean, but George Kittle has become George Kittle under Jimmy G.
But George Kittle also became George Kittle when Deebo Samuel wasn't going for 1,800 yards in the season.
Yeah, but if Deebo Samuel is going for that many yards in a season, it should be easier to get to Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
I mean, this is why. I mean, he's been showing out this year. I mean, we keep forgetting though. Deebo Samuel, he has been hurt for these last couple of years. Like this is our first year really seeing him play an entire season.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's the first time that he played with somebody that's taken that many yards from him. So I mean, I guess next year will be a big test for him to see how he does because Debo's going to come back and Debo's going to have a huge year again. He's going to be a top five receiver.
I wouldn't put Debo against Kittle. I think Shanahan didn't mix them together very well. I think he didn't know what to do with them both at the same time. I'll give you that.
Well, I will say
into
this.
what
They
you
did
feed into the
focus
next question about
on the
Jimmy G.
run game.
I think they need to go find like a high-powered quarterback. They can
for sure.
feed all the mouths that they have because they can have a big-time offense.
Aaron Rodgers,
between Ayuk,
all right.
You got Samuel and Kittle. Goodness gracious.
Tom Brady.
He also got him to the conference championship game. So, I mean.
We got to look at Kittle like this as well. Like Kittle's just as good a blocker as he is a receiver.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you could look at Kittle and he's blocking
his value's always there.
A good portion of the time. I mean, he's used in the run game so much. It probably does hurt his receiving stats a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, and that helps Debo and Elijah Mitchell as well. But having that guy like Kittle. But I'll ask this question real quick. Now that they've lost, do they stick with Jimmy G or do you think they?
Y'all can go first on that.
I probably don't say they will, man. I think they're gonna definitely look for options because, it's just like they go back to the Super Bowl. That throw to Emmanuel Sanders, if he hits that throw, they win the Super Bowl probably. Like
I think
enough is enough with my boy Jimmy G, man. It's time to move on.
Yeah, he doesn't give them opportunities that they could have with another high-powered quarterback. I think that he limits them. I mean, he's still a good quarterback. He still brought them to where they're at, but I think
he's pretty decent. Like, I mean, he's better than some starters in the NFL. I mean, very select few.
He's gonna have a job next year somewhere, but I don't think it's in San Francisco.
If Tom Brady retires, I bet he might go to
Tom Brady. Man, he need to go to the 49ers. That's where he's looking at trying to go. When I know he was looking free agency. 49ers won the teams. Like that'd be crazy.
I just don't see the Niners handing it to Trey Lance, bro. That's my biggest issue. I don't think they go to him right now. I don't think he's ready.
I see both sides of what you're saying, AJ. I would say, for one, I know you say that Trey Lance doesn't look as good as somebody that you would hand a franchise over to. I agree. But at the same time, I mean, I don't think a rookie quarterback other than Justin Herbert's ever thrown for more than 30 touchdowns in a season. I think it's really hard for somebody to adjust their first year. And I think Trey Lance with the winning attitude from North Dakota State can turn around and understand what he's doing. But at the same time, I wouldn't just abandon Jimmy G. He just took you to a conference championship game without you even winning the division.
Well,
so I mean, if the Green Bay Packers are using Aaron Rodgers and he can't even get to the division championship and you got Jimmy G, you got something going right at the moment. What are you going to go do? Trade for Aaron Rodgers and have to pay as much as you just did for Jimmy G, somebody that's 10 years older than him almost? I mean,
well, you got to look at it like this too. It's like this team is built to win now. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, do you hand it to Trey Lance and jeopardize that? Do you keep Jimmy G and know what you have, or like do you see what other options you can go with? And I don't know if trading for Rodgers is like probably something a lot of people would want to do, but I mean that's going to cost them way too much.
They're going to do what they're doing.
I'm with you. I don't think that you give all of this up just because Jimmy G lost a conference championship game.
And he's
in the top 4 of the teams in the NFL.
Yeah, and he almost won this game. I mean, he controlled the game
literally
majority of the time.
And should have won the game.
Yeah, if the defense makes that big play and midway through the fourth, then he probably is in a Super Bowl right now. And I mean, granted, Jimmy G is not the 400 yards, 5 touchdowns like Mahomes and Josh Allen, but I mean, he's winning football games. You can't really just say, all right, Jimmy, we're done with you. We're going to move on to this rookie, knowing what you have. Like, I don't think they can just dump him.
Yeah, you're right. He took the system that they gave him and did the absolute best he could.
He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And
because I mean, like you said, like this year, honestly, if you look at, because I'm looking at the 2022 free agents upcoming for quarterbacks, like it ain't shit to pick from, my boy.
No.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Trade for an old Aaron Rodgers that couldn't beat the 49ers? I mean, Jimmy G beat the 49ers. What are you supposed to do? I know he played terrible and the defense basically won him the game, but Aaron Rodgers was playing at his hometown and couldn't beat that defense. So
I got a question for y'all. Do y'all think that the 49ers' defensive success contributes to Garoppolo's success?
Oh, yeah. Definitely feeds off of it for sure.
Well, I mean, I would say so. I mean, Aaron Rodgers won his only Super Bowl with a top defense. So,
and
of course, defense plays off of the offense.
You see a defense take a step back at some point. I mean, defenses regress quicker than offenses do. If the 49ers defense takes a step back next year, which they've been good for a while, they're liable to either continue at the pace they're going or take a step back. It's bound to happen at some point. If they take a step back and Jimmy G can't keep up with the production that he needs to,
well, then you're kicking yourself. Then you try Trey Lance and see what he does.
Then you're going into a situation.
You got to go with Trey Lance because, like I said,
Carter makes a good point. He does make a good point because the defenses will run out before the offenses. But the thing I have about the 49ers and you saying that is that it was up until like November 10th. People were saying like the 49ers were out of luck. They're a trash can of a team. I mean, that was November 10th. And then, January 30th, they're playing in the conference championship. I mean, I think the team has a lot more to offer because they had most of their success later in the season. And if you have a very old team, I don't think that you're going to have that same late season success.
Also, they got hot at the right time, too.
The way I look at it is like when it comes to the Jimmy G situation is if I know I'm going to have a chance in the playoffs with him, then I'm going to stick with him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he gave them the chance to almost go to a Super Bowl, almost win. He's had a lot of playoff success. I'm not going to just dump him and let him run into free agency. And even if the defense takes a step back, say they come out next year and they're horrible, the defense is just not as good. Something happens, which I don't think that'll happen. But if it does, then you go with the rookie. There's not anybody right now on the market that is going to come in and
give him a better opportunity to win.
Give him a better chance.
For sure.
And you're right too, AJ, because if you look at what Jimmy Garoppolo did compared to all the other quarterbacks, he kept them in the game. What else can you ask for? And then what are you supposed to do? Sign somebody? They have to learn the playbook and then go from there. I think he's the perfect one. Why would you let him go? Let's build on the defense. Let's draft defensive players. If you're worried about the defense, keep Jimmy there.
Yeah, you got the weapons. You can do, you can always draft O-line. You can always pick up defense. You can always draft defense. Keep that going. But if you have a quarterback that can win games, there's no reason to dump him. And if they do that, I think the Niners are dumb because I don't think even with Trey Lance, it's going to change them that much. Because, I mean, unless Trey Lance
I don't think either one of them's the answer.
Dominant,
I don't think either one of them's the answer.
I think they obviously have an answer. They were in the freaking NFC Championship with a chance to win. I mean, they obviously got something.
They got hot at the right time. They started.
Who should have been in there with the Rams then?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm an Eagles fan, and I mean this honest. The best football team that could have beat the Rams was the Cowboys.
All right, so we're going to go on to our next question, which is Sean McVay has the contract for the right reason, but for
you don't like that take?
Well, let me.
No, I don't like that take. The Cowboys haven't been good since I've been alive plus 5 years. So
let me say this.
where are the Cowboys to have the
When it-
respect that
when
I got you, AJ. I'm going to let you talk for just 1 second.
Go for it.
All right. The Cowboys have not been good since the early 90s. And people were talking crap about the Bengals. They haven't won a playoff game since the early 90s. When was the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl championship? The same time. When was their last Super Bowl? It was before a text message. So what are you supposed to do when a team can't win for longer than I've been alive, and then you draft Dak Prescott, Elliott, you got Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, all these people that are supposed to be so great. You can't win your first playoff game. That means you're not good. I'm
All right,
sorry.
Here's my take on the
Well,
49ers.
And go ahead,
They
AJ.
got
I'm
in.
sorry. Hold on, Carter. I promised AJ the floor. Go ahead, real quick,
Okay.
AJ, and then we'll go back to Carter.
Yeah. Okay. So with the Cowboys have a very, very talented roster. And I think it was probably the only roster that is close to the Rams. I think that's what he's saying, because on paper, the Cowboys are very close to the Rams. The Cowboys, if they can get the right guy to lead them, that team could be very successful. And I think Dallas's biggest issues was themselves this year. You saw it in every big game. They made tons of mistakes. They beat themselves more than anybody else beat them. You saw it against the Niners. They had 14 penalties against the Niners. Did the Niners come out and just wax the Cowboys? No. The Cowboys had 14 penalties. They gave the Niners damn 14 points on the board just straight off of penalties. So I don't think the whole saying, "Oh, Dallas didn't deserve to be there" or anything, Dallas isn't good enough. I mean, if you run a game with the Cowboys and the Rams right now, I don't think it would be that much different than the 20-17 game we just saw. I think it might be a little higher scoring, but I don't think the Rams would run them out of the building. Or I think the Cowboys might have a good chance to win that game just for the fact of that roster is good and they're good enough to win a Super Bowl. This year they were, and I think just the coaching and the quarterback play really put them down.
I agree.
That's my biggest thing. I'm not a whole. I get it. Dallas lost. I'm a Cowboys fan. Been there my whole life. They suck in the playoffs. But in reality, that roster this year was good enough, and they were probably the second best roster in the NFC behind the Rams. So I get what he's saying.
And back to what I'm saying about the 49ers, and I'm going to hit on what AJ said. The 49ers do not deserve to be in the spot that they were. They had a couple of things bounce their way. They ended up there. They go down to Dallas. Okay? Dallas just hands them the game over and over and over on a silver platter. They take it and they win the game. Okay? They really didn't deserve to win that game. The Cowboys remotely show up, they win that game easy.
But you have
The Cowboys didn't. But the Cowboys didn't. Okay? So, that's on the Cowboys for not showing up. Kudos to the 49ers. They capitalized, they won. They go down to Green Bay, play a good defensive game. Offense can't do anything. They get one block punt, changes the face of the game, they win the game. Right? They didn't deserve to win that. They had one play that changed the whole event of the game. One play. That one play doesn't happen. We're not even talking about Jimmy G. He's not the quarterback next year.
Yeah, but okay, I understand what you're saying, but the problem with that is that he's playing against Aaron Rodgers, which everyone falls head over heels about every year, no matter what happens. So if Jimmy G can keep them in the game against Aaron Rodgers, who cares if, they block a punt for a touchdown. If Aaron Rodgers couldn't score a touchdown,
that's another thing. Rodgers didn't.
Jimmy
show
G
up that game
couldn't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he did.
So who are you
they
comparing
got
them
handed two
against? I don't
playoff
understand.
They got
handed to two playoff wins. They
Yes.
had Aaron Rodgers in his home stadium.
He just didn't show up.
If Aaron Rodgers
had two guys not show up.
Okay, so I'm saying, but Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be the greatest person that's ever stepped foot on the planet Earth.
So is Tom Brady, but he lost last week. He got blown out by the Rams.
Okay, I wouldn't put Tom Brady in the same category as Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady's not untouchable.
Tom Brady's in a category all by himself.
Yeah, it's
I'm just saying,
completely different.
But you're saying you're saying Aaron Rodgers is this, that, and the third, and he's a great quarterback. But you just say he got blown out. But why don't you talk about Tom Brady that way when he got blown out by the Rams last week?
I mean, he
didn't get blown out by the Rams last week. He could score more than one touchdown. Tom Brady scored, what was he down, 24 points or something?
Yeah, 27-3.
27, yeah.
All we can say about the Niners, bro, is they made the big plays when they needed to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they made the plays to keep them alive.
I'll say that's what matters the most. It doesn't matter about who your roster is on paper. I can name 2 or 3 UNC basketball rosters that should have won a national championship is who performed when it mattered.
No. And I think, and I agree with that because at some point you got to start because Dallas is you got to look at Dallas and say, well, they're putting the roster together to win and they're just not executing. So you got to start pointing fingers somewhere, and you got to start the players got to start taking some blame for that game. I mean, they came out and just absolutely looked just horrible. I mean, they just looked like they had not played in months. And then against the Packers, the Niners made the big play to tie the game, and then they controlled it, and they won. You know, and then they had the opportunity to do the same thing to the Rams this week. I mean, they literally catch that pick in the fourth quarter, go down, maybe put a 3 spot on the board. That game's completely different. You know what I'm saying? So saying the Niners didn't deserve it, I definitely think they deserved it. They made the big plays.
Yeah. And like I would say too, like I said at the top of when I was talking about the game, the 49ers were the 7th best offense in the league. Yep. Elijah Mitchell ran for 39 yards less than Ezekiel Elliott, which is supposed to be the greatest running back ever rushed for 1,000 yards. Deebo Samuel caught for 1,405 yards, which is 303 more than CD. And Fred Warner tackled 26 times more than Dallas's leader, Jaron Kersey, which was a safety. I don't know. You put the stuff on paper, I don't see it.
You can't do that. Fred Warner's one of the better linebackers in football. And
y'all's leading tackler was a safety.
Let me say this though. Our best defensive player was on the D line majority of the time, and he's technically a linebacker, and he had 12 sacks this year and almost 90 tackles, I think. So, trying to say that you can't really compare Fred Warner to Micah Parsons. So let me just put that in there because they're completely different. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. Micah Parsons is a top 3 defensive player in football, and there's no argument.
Okay. Yeah, like I tell people, the Cowboys, what's really going to have to happen to that team, Jerry Jones, once he is deceased, maybe that team.
Might be all right.
He's put as much money towards it as he can, and he still ain't. I don't know.
He's the downfall of that team, man. I swear, man.
He is. You're not wrong. I'm not saying that Cowboys are terrible. I'm just saying I don't like Aaron Rodgers because he hasn't won the Super Bowl since he had a top defense. So I'm not going to give the Cowboys much more credit if they can't do the same thing.
Well, also another thing is if you look at top defenses, Tom Brady had a number of top defenses in his Super Bowls. I think he only won maybe one of his Super Bowls without a top 10 defense. Might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that's it. So I think when you're looking at teams with these top defenses, those are the teams that have good chances. You know what I'm saying? They don't even have to have the greatest offense.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. I think you have a good point there. My only rebuttal to that is when Tom Brady had Chris Hogan as his top wide receiver, who was playing lacrosse at Penn State or something. I think Tom Brady took less money so they could. I was saying that Tom Brady could. Yeah, no, I'm saying Tom Brady took less money so they would put money towards the defense. And there's no other quarterback in the league right now that's taking money out of their pocket so they would have a better defense. So I don't like the same discussion where people are saying well, Tom Brady had this top defense or he had this top defense. He was taking money out of his pocket to make sure he had that defense.
Well, also another thing with those Tom Brady teams is they're well coached, well disciplined. And as you see, when your team is well coached and well disciplined, you go a long way. And the Rams have someone good in Sean McVay. I mean, they're going to have him for probably the next 30 years, and he will be amazing in LA. I mean, all props. Sean McVay's done a hell of a job. And then you look at the Niners who have Shanahan. he's been great as well. And now with Zach Taylor and the Bengals coming up, he had a hell of a year as well. I mean, I think coaching has a lot to do with why some teams struggle more than others, because you don't see many teams who make those mental mistakes over and over again make it this far. And, the Rams and the Bengals both are very well coached and well disciplined teams. And look what we got in the Super Bowl. So,
yep. So, but let me move on really quick to what you were saying about well disciplined. Yes, we have very good disciplined teams. I wanted to ask the question to y'all really quick. I'm not sure if y'all caught a lot of the game or not, but Sean McVay, he has a contract for a reason, but he lost both of his challenges in the second half. One being Matthew Stafford trying to dive in a QB sneak, and he obviously didn't get the first down.
Yeah, that was a
threw
bad
the challenge flag on that. And then the second one, he threw the challenge flag while the 49ers punt team was lined up.
Yeah.
And then both of those left us with no timeouts, down 17-14 with 10 minutes and 43 seconds left. If that game did not
quarter.
Yeah, if that game did not go exactly how it went, those two challenges would have immediately affected how that game went.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, facts. Especially that challenge though, when he called it, like I say, he had that QB sneak. It's like, dude, he didn't get that, bro.
No.
Who's in the booth?
Yeah, who's telling him to challenge it? That's what I'm thinking, because he's definitely got a second opinion in that headset telling him to challenge that play, and whoever's doing that, or maybe it's just Sean McVay. I don't know, but that was
girly out there, bro. Tell me about it.
He tapped in.
That was
outside the stadium.
That was. I thought it was crazy that the 49ers were on the field to punt the ball to us, and he threw the challenge flag.
Yeah.
We had one timeout left. That was horrible.
Well,
but I do have another question for y'all. Did OBJ find a home in LA? He had a couple very important first down conversions in this game that we wouldn't be in the game if he wasn't there.
Yes, he did. I'm glad he was able to get out of Cleveland.
Yes,
and we can finally see
what
what happens when you get away from Baker Mayfield and you have a real quarterback.
That guy needs to be replaced.
See the outcome. My boy Wyatt is listening. I'm sorry, bro. Baker Mayfield is not the option, sir.
Trey Lance might need a home here soon.
You got to be happy for OBJ though, because all the slander he's taken over the past year, 2 years, where it's just
some
the
of that
production wasn't there.
Well, some of his slander is well deserved.
Why?
We're not even going to get into that.
Listen, we'll get onto that a different one, because there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to.
I'm happy for
We've got 2 weeks to go with, so
I'm happy.
Plenty of time, trust me, because it is a lot.
Write all this stuff down that y'all want to talk about. We got 2 weeks without football. We got to talk about.
I'm just saying, I'm happy with OBJ getting to the Super Bowl, finding a good team in LA with a good quarterback and a coach that obviously likes him. I mean, getting out of that situation in Cleveland, he was in New York, who's obviously a dumpster fire. Happy for him, for real. And if you're not, I don't know.
Just hating.
Yeah, you're just hating.
Yeah, I think, and he also came in later in the season. Could you imagine if OBJ could learn the playbook, they could have worked him in the entire year?
Yeah, I've been kind of.
Yeah, Robert, he would have had to. They would have just thrown Van Jefferson out of the playbook. It would have just been Robert Woods, OBJ, and Cooper Kupp the whole time. But I couldn't imagine that wide receiver core.
Yeah, they can say Cooper Kupp doesn't have all the targets that he's getting now. I don't know. Heck,
because going into the year, Robert Woods was the guy. Robert Woods was very good.
Yeah, Kupp and Goff, they kind of had. Kupp and Stafford. Jesus, I said Goff.
Talking based off of last year, Robert Woods was the guy. Not knowing because Kupp and Stafford have a killer relationship.
Yeah. Woods just relied on. I think Woods took a lot of the safeties deep that let Cooper Kupp get open, and if the safeties dropped to Cooper Kupp, they could throw it to Robert Woods, and I think that's what they lost in that injury.
Yeah.
Well, I remember seeing reports before the season about how close Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford had become. About like they were eating breakfast together every day. Like they go over all the playbook every day. Like they became almost best friends like instantly, which is crazy. Which is why Cooper Kupp had the year he had. Which also props to Cooper Kupp. I mean, he is. That guy's good, bro.
Yeah, well, maybe Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams should go out to breakfast a little bit more if that's all it takes.
I'm not saying that's all it takes.
No, I'm just
if only I
messing
could
around.
get
I'm
Jalen
just
Hurts
messing
and
around.
Devontae Smith to sit down somewhere.
Well, when you have a connection like that, I mean, of course you're gonna
You gotta have
trust that
faith.
guy. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
trust
yeah,
him.
I'm just messing
You
around.
throw it up that he's gonna catch it.
Yeah.
You know where you got a feeling where he's out on the field. You're confident if you look his way, he's going to be
Yeah,
where
some
you
people
want him
just
to
have
be.
timing better than what
Yeah.
other people have. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if Robert Woods would have stayed there the whole year, who knows that Stafford knows where Robert Woods is all the time, but he knows where Cooper Kupp is. It's all a chance game when you come down to it with timing and all that.
And speaking of the name, rolling into the next question, MVP of the game.
OBJ.
That's easy one for me.
MVP of the game. That's definitely my boy Kupp.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is the MVP of every game.
He's an MVP in the NFL.
He is.
Yes.
Sorry, like I
he
don't
is.
know. I don't know who, because I don't even know what the current MVP race is right now. Like I've got to give it to my boy.
I think it's Aaron Rodgers,
Jesus.
Tom Brady, and then Joe Burrow.
Shit, Joe Burrow won a Super Bowl. Oh no, well, MVP
Supposed to do that before the NFL.
done
before
before.
the Super
Yeah, it's
Bowl,
done
right?
before that. Yeah, it's done before that one. That's true.
Bro, Cooper Kupp just won a triple crown, bro. He just got a triple crown. He's still doing it in the playoffs. I mean, he had 11 catches for almost 150 and 2 touchdowns.
All right. Here it is.
NFC Championship.
As of the 29th of January, Aaron Rodgers is the favorite. Tom Brady is second. Cooper Kupp, Joe Burrow, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
It's crazy. Like Rodgers still considered to be the MVP, man, after that debacle of a game he had in the divisional round. Like it's crazy.
I would even put Tom Brady over Rodgers.
Yeah, I'll go Tom Brady. I'm like, hell, this is last year.
Tom Brady had his best statistical year as far as like pass completions, touchdowns, yards, all that stuff.
He also took that team that was banged up from hell and got them into the playoffs, had a good record. You know, I mean, I'd go Rodgers. I mean, I'd go Brady over Rodgers.
That game they played against the Rams last week would have been a different outcome if they would have had, AB and Godwin. Like, that's a big loss, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a tremendous loss.
Yeah.
But dang, man, if you look at the time, holy moly.
Yeah, I was going to say really quick, everybody's going to say Kupp MVP for the last game.
Correct. Yeah. I'm going Kupp, man.
Kupp,
I think Kupp's the best player in the league. I think OBJ played a very big part in it, but Cooper Kupp is the MVP.
Yeah, you
don't go too far with that.
Crossed it.
Don't go too far with that.
Oh, yeah.
Top 10.
The Cowboys should be in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I didn't say that either.
Now, Cooper Kupp's the MVP. He's the best player in the league. He's the best player in the league. No,
he's the best player in the league this year.
MVP.
But I still think Aaron Donald
doesn't warrant for the best player in the league. He's not number one.
He's behind Aaron Donald for best player in the league.
I think so, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he might. He's top 5. I think TJ Watt's got to be in there somewhere too.
I love Aaron Donald.
Watt. Like, jeez, I mean, we keep forgetting about him. Like, I think
Aaron Donald and TJ Watt are 1A, 1B.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah,
bro. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like Watt, that dude this year, like he arguably should have broke the sack record because I remember when they played
15.
He didn't play 2 games.
Appealing for it, yeah.
He didn't play all season. Still had, 21 and a half sacks?
Yeah, 22 and a half,
bro.
And he didn't play 2
he was
games.
Like hopping in, sacking the quarterback, going and sitting down, drinking Gatorade, and come back and doing it again.
Yeah.
Effortless.
For sure.
Yeah, they're definitely triple teaming somebody like that.
For sure, man. Hey, well,
I'm saying they're that's
all on the agenda for today.
Yeah, for sure. That was a good one. I'm glad y'all were on here for this one. I like that one a lot.
I can't imagine how the episode show's gonna be when we have a freaking top 10 quarterback debate. That's gonna be like 5 hours long.
Yeah, that's gonna be a long one, bro.
That's gonna be a fun one for sure.
We're gonna have to have people just rolling in and out on that one, just dropping their top 10, and then
you get your
out.
you get your 5 minutes of top 10s, and then you're out, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
You give
gonna
them
have
10
to be
minutes,
the way.
bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna need 10 minutes because I'm definitely gonna have some hot takes in there.
10 minutes to kind of explain your picks.
I don't know, but if y'all, I mean,
Sneak
I wouldn't
peek.
be upset if it's
Sneak
y'all
peek.
too.
Lamar's not in it. Just had to announce that. Clear that up.
What? Wait,
Yeah,
did y'all consider putting Lamar in it?
Who?
Hey, that's something we had to wait and see. We had to wait and see.
No, I'm just kidding, bro. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
He's 11.
Who'd you say?
Lamar.
I say, yeah, you're right. He's 11.
Oh no, yeah, he's way over. I'm sure anybody you have put in there, especially Aaron Rodgers.
Whoa.
But I'm glad that y'all. Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
that
that's
fish
gonna
is
be
disagreeing
fun.
with us, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I already tell that the episode gonna be like a 2-hour long, bro. Like
That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of stat throwing. I don't know, but AJ Carter, I'm glad y'all came on here. This was a lot of fun.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Pete.
Yeah,
I hope
good time.
y'all come back on here a lot more. I think we can get through a lot of podcast episodes if y'all have all these opinions y'all have. It was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, we got a sneak peek, bud.
Oh yeah, I can tell based on the suit in your profile picture.
yeah,
Appreciate it, boss.
If y'all want to follow us on Instagram, it is Chill V Podcast, and if y'all want to email us, it is chillvibessportspod@gmail.com. If y'all want something for us to talk about next week, just email us, comment on the Instagram post. We're gonna have a bunch of clips up. Just let us know what y'all want to talk about. If you want AJ and Carter back up here, let us know. We will do it for sure. All right.
Yep,
Jordan?
That's all. Yeah, that's it, man. It was great having y'all on the show today. We're definitely probably gonna get back here for another episode this week. We'll have to come up with a topic, but I kind of got something in mind though. We'll just wait and see. Stay tuned.
Oh yeah.
Thank y'all again.
Fun,
Thank
bro.
you, AJ. Thank you,
Yeah,
Carter.
it was fun. We got to do it again, man.
Heck yeah.
For sure.
Good time.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Oh yeah, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll have another episode coming in shortly this week, probably on Friday. So y'all stay tuned.